We are looking at the punishment theory and how it applies to dog culture today. So let's start with the four breakdowns of punishment theory. Number one, deterrent theory. So the word deter means to prevent. So the deterrent theory of punishment, it refers to refraining from doing a particular act. The founder of this theory, Jeremy Bentham's theory, is based on the principle of hedonism. It says that be a man would be deterred from committing a crime if the punishment applied was certain, swift, and severe. So the deterrent theory in dog culture, they try to say that they're using this, but they don't. Like dog attacks, that breaks a law. A dog at large, a noise complaint, all the problems that dogs cause where they break a law, especially the dog attacks. There is no swift, certain, severe punishment. If your pit bull does something to hurt somebody, there is no swift punishment. In fact, the dog will go on the taxpayer dime to get 10 days of quarantine to get tested for diseases and rabies and stuff. But this doesn't work. The purpose of it is to reduce the likelihood of a crime, to discourage potential offenders, to teach law violators a lesson. But it's not working. It's something to keep in mind about all of these theories. Like a human can understand this, a dog can't understand this. So when you live with a dog, you become like a dog. You become more dog-like in your brain. That's not a conspiracy theory either. It's proven that when a mammal hangs around a lower intelligent creature, that they become lower intelligent too. So a dog can't understand this theory, and dog owners more and more can't understand it anyways. And here's the criticism of it. It's been criticized on the grounds that it has proved ineffective for checking crimes. It also, excessive harshness of punishment defeats its own purpose by arousing sympathy in the public. So that's another thing about dog ownership. If a dog, say, like attacks a police officer or a toddler, and we call for punishment of that dog, actually the public will throw a fit. No, give him a second chance. No, take him to the shelter. Get him socialized. Get him trained. He didn't mean to rip the neck out of that toddler and bite the forearm out of that police officer. No, don't euthanize the poor little creature. Yeah, the creature that just nearly ended the life of one of your humans. And so the criticism for this form of punishment is that the sympathy of the public, that applies to dog culture too. And I want to show you guys a little part of this write-up. It says, people refrain from committing wrongful acts. And the problem with this type of law enforcement in dog ownership, dog owners don't think it's wrongful when their dog breaks a law. Because our culture is dog worship. Dogs are better, dogs are better, dogs should be able to go wherever they want. I should be able to go here without a leash, I should be able to go here without a leash. My dog in the restaurant attacked somebody, but it's because of this other problem. You see, even if this type of law enforcement was going to work with dog culture, it still wouldn't, because wrongful acts, dog owners think their dogs can do no wrong anyways. So it's just a moot point, really. Well, let's go to the retributive theory. This means to give in return the same thing that has been received. Retributive theory of punishment is based on lex talionis, which means an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, is drawn from the Code of Hammurabi and the most traditional example of retributionism. So, this is like your dog does something bad and we're going to do it back to you. But that never happens. When it comes to dog ownership, dogs can get away with all types of stuff. What's a criticism of this one? On the grounds that it's challenging to determine the balance between pain and retribution in this form of punishment, specifically deciding what should be inflicted. And kind of like I mentioned above, it doesn't matter what type of nasty stuff a dog does to somebody else. Dog attacks inside of daycares, dog attacks from police dogs that cost our counties millions of dollars in lawsuits. when we decide what to do to these dogs to punish them, or the dog owners to punish them, it's always on balance. It's always, oh, the doggy got triggered. The doggy didn't have enough training. It was too hot in the car. It was too cold in the car. He didn't get his refresher training. Oh, the treats that he ate were part of a recall. Blah 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 blah. So it's just like with this. Who's deciding what pain to inflict? And when it comes to a dog or a dog owner, they're going to say, oh, we're not going to inflict any pain. We're not going to do that. But on the flip side of this, though, if somebody takes a 2-minute video of a dog in the back of a cold car, a hot car, going 80 miles down the freeway, now everybody wants that person to lose their job, be fired, be imprisoned because supposed dog abuse. And so, again, that's another example of how this fails, because we live in a dog worshipping society. So we don't want to apply any of this to our dogs, but we'll quickly, boom, 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 we'll quickly apply it to a human that's just doing their job, or maybe they made a little mistake and put the dog in the back of a truck. A good example is police officers that are out doing their jobs and get attacked by pit bulls, and then they have to shoot the pit bull. And then everybody wants the police officer to lose his pension, get fired, go to prison. How is he going to feed his dogs when he's in prison? Yeah, so it's like what it says here. How do you decide what type of pain to inflict and to what extent? So then we have the preventative theory. This is called the disablement theory. It aims to prevent crime rather than take revenge. A preventative theory is founded on preventing repetition of a crime by disabling the offender through some measure such as imprisonment. Again, dog culture does this. We allow a pit bull to bite or attack somebody once, twice, 3 times until somebody wakes up and actually gets a dangerous dog designation, actually reports it. Many, many cases of people dying from dogs, they were previously bitten by the same dog and didn't report it. So this does not work in dog culture. We're not even trying to apply it, but where we have applied it, it still doesn't work. You're trying to disable the offender by controlling their movement, imprisonment, etc. But it doesn't work. Collars, fences, leashes, owners that are supposed to restrain their dogs, do they do it? No. So the preventative theory that we try to do in dog culture, it doesn't work. As it says here, it's going to restrain offenders. We restrain dogs that have had problems. They go to the dog shelter. The dog shelter overflows. Guess what happens in the dog shelters? People get attacked and even killed inside of dog shelters. So we're just taking the pain and nastiness of dog culture and sticking it somewhere else. Yeah. And then what about the reformative theory? The name of this theory itself implies the nature essay. This theory helps to reform criminals, thereby transforming them into law-abiding citizens. This is like with dogs too. Well, they need more training. Well, the police dog bit a bunch of people, but we're going to send him back to get his police dog training re-updated. Reformative theory. We're going to give the dog more training, more food, more time on the couch. We're going to raise a pit bull with love, even though pit bulls are constantly putting kids in the emergency room. We're going to reform them. You cannot reform a freaking fanged predator with no prefrontal lobe, but this is what we try to do. We're constantly trying to reform the dogs. So that was a quick look at those, but this is already known that this is a fail. The punishment model has largely failed to reduce crime. It can increase the likelihood of reoffending by traumatizing individuals and severing community ties. Severing community ties, that's what happens with dog ownership. The pit bull owner that had 4 pit bulls that killed somebody, hundreds of calls to the police, nobody did anything about it, and now everybody hates the police and everybody hates the pit bull owner. Yet where is the punishment that's actually helping this? It's not helping this. And it does not reduce crime rates and can increase the likelihood of reoffending by traumatizing and severing community ties. Okay, that's one of the same sources, but harsh punitive measures can lead to negative emotional responses. And that's what they do with alleged dog abuse. They do some type of crazy thing like the Jack Reacher television show where they see a dog on a chain and he goes over there and he pummels a guy in the face because of supposed dog abuse. That's the type of stuff we do when we try to punish dog owners. We do it over the top and it creates that negative emotional response. And you guys know I was going to do it. Socialist regimes did this too. They operated in this thing of you do it our way or you get punished. They didn't set it up so people loved their country and loved each other and wanted to do great and had rewards. No, it was do it our way. And I'm not the only one that has been criticizing socialist systems for these punitive approaches. So this is well known that socialists and communists tried to pull this off. It's very much like narcissism too. You do it our way or you get punished. And we're not going to set it up so that you enjoy what you're doing. We're going to set it up so, we'll punish you if you do it wrong. The only problem with that, though, is the people that are going to punish, like dog owners, they're all dog worshippers. So it's never going to be fair. It's like with the Epstein client list that everybody's so worried about right now. The people that would punish those people that are on the client list, they're probably highly connected to the client list. And it's the exact same thing with dog ownership. And like I mentioned, the punishment model is like narcissism. It involves a desire for control and dominance, punitive behaviors, and humiliating behaviors. And here's a good little summary. The punishment model primarily focuses on discouraging undesirable behavior than promoting good behavior through incentives. So, dog ownership focuses on positive reinforcement. Well, guess what? That is not how the dog brain works. Punishment through direct pain and direct punishment. I'm not talking about all those other reformative punishment things we talked about earlier. That's actually what the dog brain understands. All this positive reinforcement that we do with dogs, it's historically not working. It's not working at all. And we're actually applying this punishment thing to ourselves. Think about it. We're punishing our own humans by the presence of dogs. The attacks, the noise, the suicides in the surgeons that work on dogs, the suicides in the veterinary office, the poor health outcomes for dog groomers. We're punishing ourselves with all this stuff, but not learning a lesson. We need to give ourselves incentives to get rid of dogs and watch our life get a lot better. And all the positive reinforcement we're giving to dogs, that should be replaced with quick, fast punishment when they do something they're not supposed to do. You attack a toddler, or you even get too close to a toddler. Swift punishment. The dog is going to learn not to mess around with toddlers. And that's not just something I made up. Many species learn from punishment. Okay? And look, lower intelligent animals can learn from pain. That's how coyotes and wolves and other canines learn out in the woods. Yeah. As it says right here, if it causes them pain, they're not going to do it again. So if you bring your guests over to your house and your dog jumps up on the coffee table, bites a guest, barks at a guest, and you give them a swift swat on the nose, that's probably going to be the last time they do it. But if you sit there and baby talk them and tell your kid to go pet on them to get the dog to calm down, that positive reinforcement, what do you think it leads to? Just look at all the negative outcomes in society. And notice what the question on this search is. Do lower intelligent animals learn from pain? Yes. But higher intelligence animals like ourselves, we learn from other methods. We learn from incentives. We learn from positive reinforcement, not dogs. So it's time to start giving ourselves some positive reinforcement and start collecting back some of the things that we've punished ourselves with by giving them to dogs. See you guys later.